is going live. So, Laura, what do you think about the weather at the moment? Nice. Oh. Can I sit further from you? Wow, that's nice. Isn't she lovely today? How are you guys doing today? Welcome to another one of our live session. We are going to be answering all your questions about traveling in New Zealand, which is going to be quite fun. So if you do have any questions of your own, feel free to ask them right now on the live chat. But why are we answering people's questions?
Well, this is Robin and I'm Laura, and we are the team behind BackpackerGuide.NZ, which is New Zealand's largest online travel guide. So make sure to check that out, BackpackerGuide.NZ, for all your free advice for traveling in New Zealand. But if you're not really into reading, we do this live Q&A session every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time, which around the world are the following times. It's on a Saturday in the US at 4 p.m. EST or 12 p.m. PST. In the UK, France, just general Europe area, that is Saturday evening at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m, although it has been daylight savings now, so I think that those times might have changed a little.
Tell us what time it is where you are in the world.
Yeah, and then finally in India, that is on a Sunday morning at 1:30 a.m. So what we do every single week is we do this live Q&A session for you guys to come and ask your New Zealand travel questions on the live chat. So make sure to ask your questions there. But throughout the week also, we take your questions that you leave in any of the comments of our videos or in the comments of any of our videos.
Yeah.
And we compile all those questions together to also answer those questions throughout this live Q&A session as well. So if you do have any questions throughout the week and you don't manage to catch the live session, make sure to add your questions in the comments below.
Yeah, pretty easy. You just watch any of our videos and you say, hey, Robin and Laura, I've got a question for the live session. Everybody does that, and it just helps you make sure that your question will be answered at some point. We don't guarantee we'll answer it right on the second you guys asking it, but we'll do what we can. All right. Ashen says, good morning, guys. Thanks for the reply via Facebook between any super special places in Dunedin. So Ashen just sent us some question on Facebook. It's a bit easier if you guys send us the question on YouTube. It makes our life much easier. So if you guys can send us the question on YouTube, it's much better. But yeah, any special places in Dunedin?
There's loads.
Yeah.
The Otago Peninsula.
There you go. I was about to say that. But thank you.
I'll just take over this question because I'm a little bit enthusiastic about Dunedin.
Yeah.
So the Otago Peninsula is this big peninsula that just comes away from the city, and it's mostly famous for its wildlife there because on that peninsula alone, you can see sea lions, you can see various species of penguins, you can see seals, albatross, so royal albatross, which are the largest seabirds in the world, and yeah, petrels as well, which are more like huge birds. So yeah, there's loads of really awesome tours and stuff to take you to see the wildlife on there. So that's definitely a special place I would have to mention.
Definitely. Tavinda says, need to know SIT or EIT, which college is better? We do not know any of them, so we won't be able to help. We're a travel channel here. We're not an education channel, so we haven't been to college in New Zealand, and we have no information about colleges in New Zealand. Sorry. Tad Graham. Oh, every time you come, my friend, I do not know how to say your name. Graham. All right, Graham. Says, morning, are there any annoying bugs over here, mosquitoes and flies? We actually have the video about the dangerous animals of New Zealand, and we covered that a little bit. But yeah, of course, there is some mosquitoes in New Zealand, like in most countries in the world. They're not too annoying. The one thing that would be annoying would be the sandflies, but Laura and I don't find it too annoying, but some tourists complain about it. Do you want to talk a bit about the sandflies?
Yeah, so sandflies are sort of around more in the summertime in New Zealand. They're mostly found around rivers or areas where there might be a lot of water, but even, to be fair, in grassy areas as well, like in the garden and stuff like that. So yeah, sandflies are kind of abundant in summer, and you definitely will want to have some sort of insect repellent, especially around your legs and things like that, because they're little black flies that come in. Like, it's usually they leave an itchy bite for about a day afterwards. So make sure you do have some insect repellent, especially in summer.
Yeah, try to get insect repellent, which is DEET free, because that's a very nasty chemical, which is really bad for you and the environment. So try to find something a bit more natural, because it's actually really bad for your lungs and everything. So try to avoid it. So it's Tige. Okay, I'm going to say Tige from now on. Hopefully that's correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, Graham. Tarvinder says, which city is better, Napier or Invercargill for international students? I really like Invercargill. I think it gives you access to the whole Southland, which is an epic outdoor playground. So I think you should definitely go there. Also, it's pretty cheap cost of living, so I'm pretty sure you're going to really love that. Napier is nice as well, but it's just a bit more expensive. And go for Invercargill if you ask me to pick like that with no context. And Arshid from Pakistan. Good morning. What time is it in Pakistan for you? Tell us a bit what time it is.
Yeah, let us know what times it is from where you're from, because we just had the daylight savings change in New Zealand, which will probably mean that our timings are a little bit off for you guys as well. So let us know.
Yeah. So Arshid says, I applied on websites of different farm workers or farming workers jobs. Never get any positive response from the company. All right, so that's because you're not in New Zealand. You've got to be in New Zealand to apply for jobs in New Zealand. We say that all the time. So you need to sort out your work visa or your working holiday visa, or any of the visa that allows you to work in New Zealand. Once you have a visa that allows you to work in New Zealand, then you can come to New Zealand and then you can apply for jobs. When farmers advertise for jobs in orchards or farming jobs, they want someone that can start right now. And if you're not able to start right now, they're not interested in your candidacy. So you have to actually do the paperwork first, fly to New Zealand. I know it's a lot of cost and everything, but this is how the job market works in New Zealand. If you're not here, you are not going to get a job. So don't try to apply for jobs before you arrive in New Zealand. That's usually not happening.
Yeah.
So,
but once you arrive in New Zealand, and especially if you're doing farm orchid jobs, they are super easy to get once you're here.
Yeah, it's very easy to get, and we have plenty of videos about those jobs that you can find on this channel. So to find that, you go on our YouTube page, and just under our pictures that says New Zealand's biggest gap here, you have a little search bar, and just type your question on the search bar, and in there you'll be able to find plenty of videos. So you can type like jobs. For example, if you just type the word jobs, you're going to see so many different videos popping up, and you'll have all our tips on finding new jobs. But you have to be in New Zealand. You'll find us saying that in almost every single one of those videos. So remember that. Cool. So it is 12:07 a.m. in and 12:37 in India. Oh my God!
Thanks for joining us, guys.
You guys are wait. Why are you not in bed? What is wrong with you guys? Go to bed. It's too late. Or are you about to go party? What's going on?
This is a party.
Yeah. Here you go. All right, so like any good party, we're going to be talking about medical and travel insurance, because that's what a party is, right? So we actually did receive some questions on some YouTube comments during the week, and so we're going to cover that while you guys are coming up with some more questions for us. So we're going to start with a question from Brody that asked on YouTube. Do you want to ask the question?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done some questions. Yeah. So Brody on YouTube asked, hey, I have a question about travel insurance while on a working holiday visa. Can I purchase travel insurance for the duration of my flight and then the first week of being in New Zealand, then purchase local medical insurance? Or do I have to have travel insurance during my entire stay? Love your videos, heading to New Zealand in 2 months, and your videos have been a huge help, so thank you.
All right, so for medical and travel insurance in New Zealand, we receive a lot of questions because there seems to be a little bit of confusion. So I'm going to address a couple of different points right here. If you are just visiting New Zealand as a tourist, it is not mandatory to have a medical and travel insurance, although obviously it is recommended. New Zealand has a very good, a very good health system where it's called ACC, so Accident Compensation Cover, I think, or Corporation, or something like that. And basically, it means that anyone that gets hurt in New Zealand can go to the hospital, and it's free or heavily subsidized, meaning that you don't pay too much. So if you're just visiting New Zealand, let's say you break your arm, you can go to a hospital. You won't be denied cover because you don't have your insurance or anything like that. And your bill won't be tremendously expensive. You will still have to pay a little bit, but it won't be crazy expensive. So that's for if you're visiting New Zealand. Now, a lot of people come to New Zealand with a working holiday visa. Now, a working holiday visa is only available from about 42 different countries, and it allows you to come to New Zealand to work and travel for up to a year, sometimes 2 years, and it's a very specific program. Now, as part of the condition of this specific program, you have to have medical and travel insurance for the length of your stay. That means that it's part of your visa. If you do not have this, you may be denied entry in New Zealand when they check if you have all the paperwork. So you absolutely have to have that. Now, a lot of people tell me, oh, Robin, I'm coming to New Zealand on a working holiday visa, but I'm not 100% sure how long I'm going to be staying in New Zealand. Maybe I'm only going to stay 3 months. Maybe I'm going to stay a year. So I'm not really sure what to do. So how do I prevent this? So one of the good ways to do it is to kind of do it for about 3 months. So you get 3 months of insurance and then to renew if you need. Or if you're sure you're going to be staying a year, get the whole year, because it's always cheaper to get a longer period of time. If you take 12 months of insurance, it is tremendously cheaper per month to take only a 3 months or only a 6 months. So think about that in that way. Now, the comprehensive medical and travel insurance, which is the thing which is mandatory with a working holiday visa, needs to include quite a few things. It needs to include both travel insurance, obviously, and also medical insurance. There is a lot of different covers which are offered by credit card companies, banks, and even insurance companies from overseas. Like, let's say you're from the US and you have a medical insurance over there that covers you for a certain amount of time in your country of arrival. This usually doesn't cut it because it's not specific enough to what you're doing, and it doesn't provide comprehensive enough cover. So don't think that just your credit card insurance is going to be enough, or your Medicaid insurance in the US is going to be enough. You actually have to have something bespoke, specific to what you need. So there is different kind of school and train of thought. There is like world nomads and all those kind of things. But all the insurance company, they're located overseas, and they just basically give the same thing to everyone, and they kind of hope it works, right? We tend to prefer to get something local because they know the market better, because when you pick up the phone in New Zealand, they know what you're talking about, they know where the hospital is, they know all those kind of things. So we actually recommend a company called Orbit Protect, and we'll put a link to you guys, a link to them in the description below if you want to. But yeah, it's a pretty easy insurance to get. It's quite cheap, and you can actually get the insurance for the whole year for under 400 New Zealand dollars. Which, it's basically one of the cheapest that I could find, even when I arrived in New Zealand quite many years ago. So it's quite cheap, and so it covers everything. Now, for when you get your medical and travel insurance, there is multiple different components. So I'm just going to refer to the notes quickly so I can cover all the different kind of sections that we have. All right. Cool. So the first thing that you need to decide for your medical and travel insurance is your cover length. Obviously, we just talked about it. You have to have one for the length of your stay. But since you are not 100% sure how long you want to stay, well, at this point, you are you just pick whatever you think you're going to be staying here. If you are just visiting New Zealand, you usually know how long you're going to be staying, so it's easy peasy and you can go with it. Actually, I think this Orbit Protect insurance, they have something for tourists, which obviously would be much better to get that straight away for tourists. So check the website out and see.
And they also have insurance for students as well, if you're an international student.
Yeah, because a lot of international students need to have this insurance as well. So yeah. Check the link. I don't work for them, so I don't know that. But check
we'll add the link in the description when we do the rebroadcast of this video, so you guys can just have a browse through that website yourselves.
All right. So yeah, so it covers travelers, students, and working holiday makers. Now, let's go back to the working holiday visa. So you need a comprehensive medical and travel insurance. So you need to have a medical evacuation covered. You need to have luggage covered. You need to have work cover as well, because in the working holiday visa, you're going to work and travel. So you need to have all those kind of things as well. You need to have transit and also disrupted travel. You need to have all those little components in your insurance. There is quite a few things which are excluded, and the main point of confusion for people when they pick a travel insurance for their trip to New Zealand is usually the excess. So how does that work? You have an insurance that had an excess of 250 New Zealand dollars, for example. This means that if you do have a bill of $120, you're getting no money back from your insurance because it's lower than $250. If you have a bill of $250, you're getting no money back from your insurance. That means you have to pay that. However, if you have a bill of $350, you are getting back $100 because you remove the excess out of it. So that's basically how the excess works. So think about that when you are making your plans. Now, those kind of insurance also don't cover your normal general practitioner, GP, your normal doctor. Basically, you are not able to go to the normal doctor, and usually it costs between $20 to $45 depending where you go, and they pay for it. It's not like how it works. You go to the doctor, you pay for it, and you also pay for your prescription. Now, from our experience, doctors, again, it's about between $20 to $45 in prescription.
For overseas travelers, it's around $80.
No.
For a doctor consultation.
No.
Well, you probably went when you were a long time ago, but it's 80.
Oh, maybe $80. Okay, so $80. I think that's too much, but tell us when you guys go to the doctor in New Zealand, come back on the video and mention it. But yeah, so your prescription from experience, they're very subsidized, so that can be up to just $5 or $10, so it's rather cheap. But yeah, so know that this is not included in your insurance. And also there are something which are usually not included in the basic insurance, like cover to certain items. So like you won't have your personal possession, like your laptop, for example, or your phone or anything like that covered, but you can request to add that as an add-on. So you can say, hey, I have a laptop which I think is worth $1,000. Can you cover that? And if yes, for how much? And they will actually give you a quote and say, oh, this is how much we charge you for that.
Another point on top of that is that usually extreme sports are covered in insurance as well. And a lot of people do come to New Zealand in order to do maybe surfing, skiing, some other crazy stuff like skydiving, that sort of thing. That extreme sports category isn't covered in your normal insurance, but you can usually have that as an add-on.
Yeah. And finally, the last thing that wasn't my list, but finally, one of the last thing that that is not covered is usually what is covered by the ACC. So as mentioned, the ACC is kind of the universal cover in New Zealand, and there are something that it's just not. They cover, so the insurance is not going to pay you twice. So ACC will cover something, you cover the excess of the insurance, and then the insurance cover the rest. That's basically how it works. So the first part that kicks in is the ACC, which is the universal cover. The next part is you with your excess. So if your excess is $250 or $500, that's what you pay, and then the insurance pays the remaining. Now, when you get insurance, you will get a little certificate that you should carry with you that will allow you to enter New Zealand and prove that you have this medical and travel insurance. And also, it's just a good system. You can show it at the hospital if something happens. So, yeah, and that's basically everything you need to know about medical and travel insurance for New Zealand, for both the working holiday visa, being a student in New Zealand, as well as
being a tourist.
Being a tourist in New Zealand. The best thing is always to kind of shop for it on your own. That's why we actually did some articles about that on BackpackerGuide.NZ. Anything which is included in your student package, in your in your visa helper package, in any of those kind of things, usually they are rather overpriced. So that's why we decided to actually dig deep, try to find something which works. And so we put a few links in the description below for you guys. And if you do find that useful, like and subscribe. That's always helping us a lot. All right, let's get back to live chat. Andrea C says 2 more months before coming to New Zealand.
Woo!
I can't wait. 2 more months.
That's exciting.
That's pretty good. Adil says, hello from South Africa. This broadcast began on Saturday night at 9 p.m. South African time.
Good
Thank
to
you
know.
for that.
Thank you.
Andrea is back and say, do you recommend to bring some cash to keep me going for the first few days? Yes, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. Sometimes you can have problems if you are planning on using credit cards or debit cards overseas in general. Some banks might be told that this is what you're going to be doing, otherwise, because sometimes there's they find it suspicious activity if you use your card overseas. Like that's one of the problems that could happen. For instance, other things can happen as well, like you can lose your credit card, all that sort of thing. So. It's really good to have a backup of cash for the first few days that you're in New Zealand, just to get you get started. Yeah.
Tarvinder says, what is the IT scope in southern New Zealand? No idea. It's a travel channel here, so
We don't know about specific jobs and stuff, but in general, I think IT jobs, there is a low, it's one of the low skill,
skill shortage.
Skill shortage, that's what the one. So I think there's, with that in mind, there's probably a lot of scope for IT jobs.
But we don't know where they are. I just want to put the caveat. We don't know where they are. We don't know what's the scope of the industry and everything. So we're a travel channel here, so we can't give you this kind of tips.
Yeah.
All right. What else is happening? Oh yeah. Tigay says, do you guys have permanent residency? If so, how hard was it to apply and be successful? We do have permanent residency. It was long, painful, and very expensive, but we do not have the right to provide immigration advice under New Zealand law because you have to be a registered immigration advisor to do so. So that's basically the extent of the answer I can give you.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
An official bucket list family says, hi, guys. I used ACC when I broke my rib. It was really easy. Look at that.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, really easy. Also, I don't think breaking a rib is fun. It's one of the bones I never broke, but we try to avoid that, guys, if you can. Patrick say hello from Wanaka.
Hello.
Good morning, Patrick. How are you doing?
How is it in Wanaka today?
How's the weather? Are you going to go snowboarding today, or what's Wanaka? So Wanaka, if you guys don't know, it's in the southern end of New Zealand. It's about 45 minutes to an hour drive from Queenstown. There's some really cool ski field nearby, and right now it's kind of prime ski season.
Well, actually, I think it might be coming to the end of the ski season in Wanaka.
I personally think it's the best because you get the really good weather.
Yeah, that's true.
And you still have the snow, and people actually stop snowboarding at this point. So you get the whole slope to yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
To me, it's prime ski season. So are you going to go snowboarding or skiing, Patrick, today? Matt Mac, hey, that's been a long time, Matt Mac. Wow. Hello. He says, what adventure are you going to do next? Well, we are not sure right now. We are planning a couple of things, but we'll keep you guys posted on the channel. So keep watching.
Yeah.
We literally just came back from a good 5 weeks or 4 weeks of traveling to actually update the website. That was a boring adventure. We were just going around checking accommodation and checking activity operators and all of that to update the website for you guys. So yeah, you've probably seen on the website we have added a lot of different articles now to help you more. Mm-hmm. So yeah. An official bucket list family says it's from Southern California. What about in Southern California? Patrick says, yes, declaring is good. Yeah, just declare. If you're unsure about what you need to declare when you arrive in New Zealand, make sure to declare it. There is absolutely no penalty for declaring something that you do not have the right to do. You don't have to declare or that you didn't have to bring to New Zealand. So let's say you bring to New Zealand a hunting rifle and some ammunition, which happens. So people come here to sometimes do some hunting or some fishing, right? And let's say that this is outside of the scope of regulation of New Zealand, right? If you declare it, you won't have a penalty. You will have to surrender that because you can't take it into New Zealand, but you won't have a penalty. However, if you don't declare it and they find it on you, then at that point, you will have to pay a fine, surrender it, and they may, the fines can be up to like 10,000 New Zealand dollars. So it's a lot of money. So just declare stuff because you have nothing to risk. If you actually arrive with everything on the list of things not to bring, you can bring honey, fresh fruit, and everything. Let's say you have an entire basket of honey and fresh fruit, and you say, I have a basket of honey and fresh fruit. You won't be charged anything because you declared it. You may have to surrender, yes, but that is it. However, if you have this basket of fresh fruit and honey and you don't declare it, then at that point, they will take it from you and they will charge you really big fines because you try to smuggle it, basically. So don't do that, just declare it. Yeah. We spend our time telling people to declare things. It's the #1 question that we receive on this channel, by email, on Facebook, all the time. We hear all the time, like, I'm bringing like ginger roots. Do I need to declare it?
Yeah.
Yes, just declare it.
And one of the other things, like there are some items which, for instance, could be classed as an animal product. For instance, we did get a question from a guy who said, can I bring my leather jacket into New Zealand? Is this classed as an animal product? Do I have to declare it? The good thing is, if you can bring your leather jacket into New Zealand, but if you're unsure about anything like that, just declare it anyway. They'll probably say, yeah, you can bring that in. And they'll just smile and be like, be on your way. So it's fine. Like, even if you're unsure about, like, oh, my hairbrush is made out of wood, that's a plant product. Yeah. Can I bring that in? Just declare it anyway. They'll probably say, yeah, that's fine. And you just move on with your life.
You'll be sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Unofficial bucket list families from San Bernardino. That's cool. All right. Patrick says, my holiday has been here, and it's coming to an end. I've traveled from Auckland down to Wellington, and then from Queenstown driving up to Christchurch. No skiing, but I'm hiking.
Awesome.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. So how long more do you have in New Zealand? And what was your favorite part, actually? Just, give us like maybe your 2 or 3 things that you love the most. Patrick says, I declared my hikers, so that his hiking boots, they looked at them and cleaned them one more time because even as I washed them before going, something needs, but then I just went through. So you see, pretty simple. They literally clean your shoes for you. How good is that? I mean, like free shoe polish. Actually, I got really lucky. Usually they give you a brush and you've got to clean it yourself. So that's quite lucky, but yeah. And unofficial bucket list family says, yes, my dad accidentally brought in a grape and got a fine of 400 New Zealand dollars. Here you go.
So there's another thing to note, that actually remember what you've packed in your bag, because it can happen. Like you did pack maybe some fruit for a bit of a snack, or maybe kept some of the fruit from the plane in your bag, like, oh yeah, I'll have that as a snack later. But just remember that you actually did that, and that you actually do have food in your bag, and so that you can declare it. Yeah.
All right. So while you guys are giving us some more example of how expensive can it be to bring grapes into New Zealand, we're going to go through another one of the questions that we received. Actually, I should read this one because you're going to answer it mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I just realized, I was like, oh, that's a question mostly for Laura. Ooh. All right. So we received a question on Instagram from Barclay_travel. What's our Instagram handle?
It's at BackpackerGuide.NZ.
All right, and the question is, hey, question for the Sunday show. Here it is. Myself and my girlfriend are thinking of doing the Tongariro Alpine Crossing. We are thinking of doing it in the last weekend of October. We are both really healthy and fit, but are not experienced hikers. Do you think this would be a good time to go, or would you recommend holding off on it? Thanks, Daniel. All right, Daniel. So the Tongariro Alpine Crossing has kind of 2 seasons, right? It has the summer and the winter season. In winter, it's really snowy up there. You need crampons. We strongly advise you have a guide, and you need very, very heavy preparation. In summer, then it's much easier to do, not even a bit. It's much easier. Yeah, it's a long hike, but it's definitely not one of the hardest hikes in New Zealand. There's a lot of people doing it, and it's absolutely stunning. You just need to prepare a little bit and plan a bit ahead. Now, Laura, what about the last weekend of October, and what do you do? How do you plan just tell us everything about Tongariro.
So it's interesting that you are going on the last weekend of October, because this is actually the date that the shuttles for the Tongariro Crossing start going again for the summer season. Well, terms and conditions apply. If there's still too much snow up on the mountains that you walk over, then they won't be starting. But usually that last weekend of October, known as Labour Day in New Zealand, that is usually when all the shuttles start going again, because yes, you will need to take a shuttle at the Tongariro Alpine Crossing. It is a one-way hike of about 19.4 kilometers, I do believe.
I think it's 19.6, but...
Oh, maybe. Damn it.
19.4, you're correct.
Is it?
Damn.
Yes. So yeah, it is a one-way hike, so you will need to take a shuttle to get, if you're parking your car on one end, you need to take a shuttle to get back to the other end. But one of the car parks has shut down recently. It did shut down in the last summer season. So nowadays, you basically, whichever accommodation you're staying in around the Tongariro National Park, whether it be in Whakapapa Village or National Park Village, Turangi or Taupo or Owakuni, you are best to take a shuttle from your accommodation in those towns to the Tongariro Alpine Crossing. That's basically the easiest way to go about transport for getting there. Okay.
Now, quickly, why is the last weekend of October called Labour Day? Just to give some context to people. It's a public holiday in New Zealand.
It's a public holiday.
So it's just that. It's just public holiday in New Zealand. So expect a lot more Kiwis actually being around and traveling around that time of the year. So the last weekend of October, basically the last week of October gets a little bit busy. And it's kind of the way you kick in the summer season, the really busy season in New Zealand, because the busy season actually starts in November and runs all the way through to about March. So this is when New Zealand received a lot of tourists, like about 2 million tourists are coming to New Zealand within only those few months. And so expect everything to be busier more expensive and a bit more crowded.
Yeah.
But all right, cool. So how do you plan for the Tongariro Alpine Crossing? What do you prepare? What do you pack?
Well, yeah, first of all, you do need to pack yourself a day pack for the Tongariro Alpine Crossing. It's best that you be wearing like proper walking or hiking shoes, some sturdy shoes, basically. There's the terrain does change quite a lot throughout the hike. It's mostly graveled really well and like hard packed, so that's easy to walk on. But there are sections of the trail which is like loose volcanic rock and can be pretty slippery going downhill. Like, so it is best to have some good footwear, obviously, for quite a long day hike as well. And in your backpack, you do need to have quite a lot of water.
3 liters.
3 liters of water.
Minimum.
And yeah, a lot of people they actually end up packing a lot less water and end up getting in pretty sticky situations where they end up getting super thirsty. And if it's sunny, that heat can really make you dehydrated as well.
There's very little shade.
Yeah.
And, because you're basically climbing a volcano, there's no shrubberies or trees or anything like that. So there's so little shade. It is quite tough. So yeah, make sure you have enough water. I can't really stress that enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Water. Also, you'll need sunscreen. Even when you're going into these higher altitudes, that's when the sun is even more powerful, and you definitely will need sunscreen at the ready at all times. It's also handy to wear like a sun hat and various different layers of clothing. So make sure that you have like an underlayer, maybe some merino wool underlayer, a mid layer as well, and also a rain jacket, because the weather up there can change super quickly throughout the whole day. You can be seeing clouds passing by, it can rain, then it can be sunny again. So make sure that you have all the sort of clothes for every single situation that you're likely to occur. So rain, sunshine, cold, hot, be prepared for all of them.
Yeah, I would also recommend having a hat, just because it really, the sun especially can hit real hard. So heat exhaustion happen quite fast. Again, it is a bit of a long hike and it's one way, so you can't really just turn back, or it's a bit of a pain. So just make sure you have a hat. And
finally, you will need some food to take up there with you, because it does take usually around 6 to 8 hours to complete if you're just walking at a normal pace. So that you will probably get very hungry throughout the day. You take some lunch up there, take a few snacks to keep you going, and that's important as well. And some people like to take hiking poles. Maybe the older crowd like to have hiking poles. So that's up to you. It's your preference.
All right, so just while you catch your breath, just a bit of facility along the track. So along the track, there are a couple of toilets at one point, but it's just one time, and it's just before the Devil's Staircase. Is that how you call that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just before the Devil's Staircase. So that's the one point when you're going to be able to use the facilities. Then after that, it's not until the end of the track. So there's one on top now.
No, there have been some new toilets put in throughout the way, and I
really?
did update that.
Okay, let me just have a look. It doesn't say on here.
Okay.
There is no rubbish bin anywhere alongside the tracks. You need to carry your own stuff with your own rubbish with you, and there is no access to water. So make sure that you do have enough. What did we mention? You need to have enough water.
Yes, we definitely did. We should mention about water. Yeah? Take some more water. If you think you haven't got enough water, then just take some more.
9 long drop. There are 9 long drop toilets located on the Tongariro Alpine Crossing track, including one at Mangate Popo Hut and car park, and at the Kete Tahi and car park. So there is 9, but they're not at 9 different spots. They are in 4 different spots, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
But
something like that.
Yeah. All right.
There's toilets. There are toilets.
But
they're not the nicest looking toilets, but if things get pretty, a dire situation, then there'll be some along the way.
Cool. Anything else you want to add about the Tongariro Alpine Crossing?
Well, also Barclay Travel, Daniel, also asked about their level of fitness.
Oh, yeah.